street corner to government house or carnival. We bring you social commentary, political strife, and the bacchanal. But nowadays you'll find in countries like mine, the government only wiping out calypso line. But if everybody is on good behavior, there will be no cause to fear any objective calypsos that perchance you happen to hear. But as long as you have politicians who think that they own people, I'm begging you, sing calypso, sing calypso, sing. As long as they continue to fool voters the way they do, I'm begging you, sing calypso, sing calypso, sing. Yes, until they stop aggrandizing, double dealing and pocketing. Yes. It is the calypso will change up Trinidad. Sparrow and Stalin really hit them hard. Mighty Chalky one, keep an eye on the Yankee man. He say you could spend the US dollar, but you cannot befriend Ronald Reagan. Honestly, I never know about boot and the soldier talk until mighty Gabby sing it out in a calypso. Yes, it was that same calypsonian who in his song did beg and preach against the foreigner chasing barbarians from their own beach. So as long as unemployment crippling your country, I'm begging you, sing California, sing. Yes, sing California, sing. As soon as you hear them say something wrong in the treasury, sing California, sing. Sing California, sing. Until we stop the drug pushing that is causing so much killing. There's a lot of thunder about regional unity. Still they can't agree on a unified policy. Remember, we tried federation, which ended in confusion. But if they want to succeed this time, they should listen to the Calypsonian about education, housing and tourism. The Calypsonian don't have his facts on paper. In song, he's your ombudsman and the poet, teacher and historian. So well could spread a message like the true Calypsonian. So until we stop deportation of our fellow West Indian, I'm begging you, sing California, sing. Sing California, sing. Until the bigger islands show more respect for the smaller ones. Sing California, sing. Sing California, sing. Oh, and if our people just can't rely on this elusive CPI, yes. Sing, sing, sing California, sing. Hello,
Yes, my good people. That's the sounds of the man himself, the King Elimat. And that one is called Sing Calypsonian Sing. I'm DJ Maurish, and I'm coming to you live and direct from my bunker here in the Republic of St. Paul, St. Kitts. Yes, you heard it right. The DJ is still here in the Republic of St. Paul's, right in our beloved Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. And this evening, we're going to have a roundup. We'll be discussing the happenings in our beloved Federation. We'll be giving you an assessment of the 3-year anniversary of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Joe-led administration in a few. But before we get into that, for those of you who may be scrolling the web and just bump into us and wondering what this podcast is all about, let's take a quick listen to the ad.
Wednesday evenings are heating up. Log on to DJ Maurishaw's Facebook Live broadcast every Wednesday evening from 6 to 8 p.m. It's a frank and candid exploration into the social, cultural, political, and economic issues affecting our federation. And just in case you missed it, you can also catch the broadcast on his YouTube channel, DJ Maurishaw. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube and smash that bell. You will be notified whenever he goes live. DJ Marishaw, every Wednesday evening, Facebook 6 to 8 p.m. or thereafter on his YouTube channel, DJ Marishaw. Log on.
Yes, you heard it right. We are here each and every Wednesday evening from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And we are coming to you from my bunker in the Republic of St. Paul, St. Kitts at this time. My good people, we're going to jump into Dwyer commentary in a bit, but just before we go to Dwyer's commentary for today, Wednesday, August 6th, let me give you a preview of a prediction by the man himself, an icon, Dr. Garfield Alexander.
DJ Marisha, I don't want you guys to take your eyes off him. Remember, he's been around for some time. Let's go back to COVID and lockdowns. The gentleman came in, was locked down in quarantine, and then realized the total hypocrisy, tyranny, and oppression of the then administration during our most horriblest time. Spoke out. Not only spoke out, became an activist. And then you know what he did? Organize and centralize. And he never stopped organizing and centralizing until Timothy was gone. I don't even want to talk about the involvement he had before and the Douglas administration and the Harris. We ain't gonna talk about that. I'm just talking that during COVID, that man, both on this front, locally, and in the US, waged war against tyranny and oppression. One simple man, a DJ as he calls himself. He never called himself an engineer or anything else, just a DJ, because he understands the power of voice, and not just voice, autonomous, independent, honest, transparent voice always wins in the end. So it could be persons with unlimited power and unlimited money. He somehow always becomes the David against the Goliaths. Be careful with him. Be kind to him. Watch him. Because trust me, he's going to triumph in the end. Again.
Yes, and that's the prediction of Brother Dr. Garfield Alexander. And I want to take this time to shout out the good people here at Island Purified Water, the good water people. The man, Brother Powell and his team there, I want to thank them for keeping the DJ hydrated whenever he's in our beloved Federation. So, Brother Scatter, Brother Powell and team there, thanks again for continuing keeping the DJ hydrated, especially in times like these when we're in this heat wave. So, my good people, I'm going to drop the commentary for G.A. Dwyer Astafan for today, Wednesday, August 6, 2025.
Greetings. It has been said that politics is the art of getting votes from the poor and getting campaign funds from the rich by promising to protect each from the other. It has also been said that in his quest to become the master, the politician poses as the servant. Of course, there will be exceptions, but history has shown that far too many people go into politics for selfish rather than altruistic reasons. And those who succeed in getting in do enormous damage to the country and to its future, and get away with it. All of which points to the urgent need for us, the people of this country, to understand that politics is far too important to be left in the hands of politicians. When I hear people saying they don't want anything to do with politics, they are abdicating their responsibility. Of course, I can't force them to do or to be what they don't want to do or to be. But you cannot leave politics in the hands of politicians. You'll get burnt. We also need to understand that our votes add up to little more than giving the politicians a passport to power, to $2,000 shoes, $5,000 bags, $8,000 suits, $20,000 watches, impressive real estate overseas, and fat bank accounts overseas. Marcus Garvey, no less, said that intelligence rules the world and ignorance carries the burden. For too long, we've allowed politicians and others to use their intelligence while we innocently and trustingly choose ignorance and expect and hope for the best from them. That can't work. Cannot work. And in the midst of all of that, the bad judgment that is exercised by leaders is a toxic mixture for the people of the country. I'll give you some in a minute. And the most worrying thing about this for me is that there seems to be no political party in the country which is fully committed to changing this unjust status quo. The Labour Party and its glorious philosophy and tradition were hijacked by Dr. Douglas and his PAM defectors. PAM, with the greatest of respect, is a hot mess. And PLP, which is the fast and pray party, is a desperate and dangerous one-man show. Here are some examples of the bad judgment and bad priorities by our leaders. The Southeast Peninsula Highway. The handful of landowners in the Southeast Peninsula made a killing from the construction of that road, but they were never made to pay their fair share. You know who carried the bulk of that burden? You. Remember what Marcus Garvey said? Some use their intelligence, some want to remain ignorant. And those who want to remain ignorant, more often than not, carry the burden. The Simmons administration introduced a constitution for the country, which was more focused on narrow interests rather than the general good of the country today and tomorrow. What about the notorious IMF and land for debt fiasco under the Douglas regime? A problem was caused. We didn't need to go to any IMF, and there wasn't any need for any land for debt. But the net result of all of that is, with the land for debt, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of land tied up in the bank's books. When banks operate on cash, cash is king for banks. What is our bank doing holding over $500 million worth of real estate? What about those same two leaders, Douglas and Harris, and Christopher Harbour? The terrible deal that was done with Christopher Harbour. And then with Harris willing to pass over SIDF's 30% share in Christopher Harbour. And on top of that, pay Christopher Harbour $6 million or more US dollars. How is it that those who we elect, smart persons that they are, would take such terrible decisions? And decisions that only hurt you and disrespect you and your intelligence. Let me bring another thing. Do you believe that successive administrations have known of the group of insiders who broker massive loans that should never be issued and make big money out of it? And a lot of that big money goes out of the country in bank accounts and so forth, milking the system. Powerful people, wicked, cruel, dishonest, crooked people. Switzerland and Dubai. Switzerland and Dubai. Then you've heard 1,000 times about the Galaxy jail matter. Harris and his team gave Galaxy an abomination of a gift and a kick in the face of the people of this land. I've never heard of anything more egregious than that. How could such a bright leader make such a bad decision? Why would your head servant turn against you and your children? In this scenario, Galaxy and whoever else win, but you the people lose. What about this one? Do you believe that past and present administrations have been and are aware of the large amounts of money that are being laundered in this country? Some people have been laundering money from the sale of stolen cigarettes, cigarettes stolen in the US and shipped to islands in the region, and money passing through here to be washed. You think they know about it? And washed through paying bills, paying bribes, making strategic investments, developing property and so forth. What about this deal with CS Global, which along with Galaxy has been by far the biggest beneficiary from our CBI program? My guess is that CS Global has gathered hundreds of millions of US dollars over the last 12 years. Now you tell me, if you measure what CS Global has gotten out of this deal and compare it with what you have gotten out of it, who have been the winners and who have been the losers? Guess what? You lose again. And to make matters worse, to rub salt in our eyes, the present administration recently named Mr. Dev Bath, who is highly associated with CS Global, as a diplomat for this country to India. We shall see in time how matters unfold. And what about the Hindu shrine that is to be built allegedly at Fort Thomas Hotel site? What Hindu shrine you're telling us about? I'm also told that it will be a shrine, a museum to the original inhabitants of the island. But do we need acres of land for that? Yes, we must honor the original inhabitants, but we don't need 8 acres to do that. And we definitely must not accept a Hindu shrine in St. Kitts, taking up all that land that could be put to better use. Our politicians come to offer to be our servants, and they become our masters. But the question is anybody mastering them? Because why would intelligent, fair-minded, and respectful leaders do such atrocious things and make such atrocious decisions? Why would they proclaim their hearts for us, yet act so heartlessly against us? And to find out about the lack of loyalty, because people are just transactional, and many of them go into the business or seek elevation in the public service for their own purposes. They'll ride any donkey that will come their way. What about the one who helped to write the PAM manifesto for the last election? Who helped them campaign in the last election and has so much say in a so-called Labour administration today? The cycle of deception leads to other things, none of which is any good for us. And these political imposters and other persons ruthlessly obsessed with selfish ambition must be stopped. That is why we cannot leave the politics to them. Let me give you another example of bad judgment. The Trini man who came here to build the smart houses. Where is he? He's gone. Proper due diligence on him would have dismissed him from day one. But they were entangled, working out things with him that could never be worked out. And now he's gone, leaving a trail of debt in the country. Over $8 million just to one bank in town, not to mention other creditors. What kind of decisions are these by sensible people, and sensible people entrusted to lead the country on our behalf? Remember the Leclanche Solar Project? That Swiss company, smaller than Horsfords and TDC, they had no money to do the project. They tried for years upon years. And you know what a lot of these people do? I'm not saying it happened in any of these cases that I mentioned. They know they can't get it done, but they get the papers signed. They get the deal. And then go and find financiers or find somebody to buy it from them to flip it and make a big profit and then walk away happy. Look how much of that has happened. Look at all of these Chinese projects. Too many brokes and smart people have come here and gotten rich off us. All too often our leaders over the decades have allowed this to happen. We have to put a stop to it. We cannot leave the politics to the politicians. Here are some projects that I'm concerned about, and I'll be repetitive. The Bastia High School project. Who is Preconco St. Kitts Limited? What is the cost of this project? I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but we need to know. It's our money. How many files has the government allocated to them under the CBI public benefit option? What are the risks of a repeat of the Galaxy situation? What about the Performing Arts Center by Prime Developments Limited? Did this company do prior projects under the CBI? Do they have a track record in CBI? What is the cost of this project? And how many files are they getting? The Galaxy jail got nearly 5,000 files with the potential to raise nearly $1 billion US for a project that didn't even cost 100 million. Are we going to see a repeat of these things? We need to know. We cannot accept and embrace ignorance any longer. Otherwise, it will be down to our detriment. And people will run away to Switzerland and Dubai and laugh all the way into retirement at us. What about the Robert Llewellyn Rachel Airport project by Caribbean Infrastructure Development Corporation? Who are those people? What is their track record? What is the cost of this project? How many files have they been allotted? Can't these projects be done by the government? Just like when you're doing the Hurricane Relief Fund and all of these other things. We have this program, we have this project. You pay the money into the government does the project. We hire contractors and subcontractors, and we give our people the maximum access to opportunities from these projects and make sure the money comes into the economy, comes into our economy. Where are the guardrails? Let us see these arrangements. Don't tell me about confidentiality. And speaking about Galaxy and the jail, in the judicial review case brought by MSR Media, the government undertook to pursue, to follow up on all of the remaining 4,000 plus applications who got citizenship by investment. So we expect to hear progress reports from the government on that. They made that commitment and we will hold them to it. We have to take control of the politics. Look, these people come to us and ask us to elect them, to serve us, and we give them the chance. Then they become our masters. We let them become our masters. We must stop it. The politics is too important to leave it to them. We've been fooled and used enough.
I think
Yes, that's Brother Dwyer Astapan commentary for today, Wednesday, August 6th. Dwyer, I must say to you, my brother, that you're bowling, but as I said to you weekly, I know you have more information and you can do a much more better job as presenting the facts. You need to cut down on your run. Stop running around the bushes. You can bowl directly on the stump. This down the left side and outside the half stump kind of thing. Let's give the people the facts. Be more direct with the information, because the information I have, I know you have it. So, great commentary, great improvement on your commentary, but you need to be more direct. Let the people get the facts. The information is swirling around too much. And it's time enough that the people get the real deal and let them make their decision. Just as under the former administration, we came out and we said the corruption have to stop. Let's get rid of them. We hit to the streets. And the rest is, history. It's time to stop this nonsense that is taking place in our beloved federation. If we don't, we're going to wake up with a country that does not belong to the citizens. I know that there's a lot of folks out there these days with their fake pages and portraying that the government is doing good and the government is doing this and the government is doing that. They could fool people who don't have eyes. They can fool people who standing around with their eyes open shut. But any citizen on the ground here in St. Kitts and Nevis that lives on the ground here in St. Kitts and Nevis knows the facts. They live it on a daily basis. Those folks that come in for the weekend during music festival or came in for Culturama and just having some fun, drink the liquor and ready to leave again, who does not understand the struggle, those people I can forgive. But you citizens on the ground here that live on a daily basis, even you who are, as they would say, sucking the breasts are benefiting, you know to yourself, the wrong that is being done to this country by this Joe-led Labour administration. And if we want a reminder, I'm going to play a clip. And this clip going to be playing until you guys understand what is taking place. Because it seems as though that some of your ears are open, but stick buck off in them. Some of your eyes are wide open, but they are shut. I see my boy Benta is online. I want to welcome him. I'm going to go to him in a bit. But this clip I'm about to play, I know his blood pressure goes up when he hears this clip. So I'm warning him to just calm down a bit and listen to the facts, because listen to our Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis prosecuting a matter, and what he's prosecuting about this prison project, people, is factual. My good people, the prosecution in Parliament about this prison project is factual. But at the end of this clip, I want you to understand that this same individual, this same Prime Minister that is prosecuting this matter in Parliament is alleged to have signed off on the majority of these files. Dwyer said some 5,000 files for that prison project. I understand it's over 5,500 files, which equates to some 22,000 passport, i.e. 22,000 new citizens who can come to the Federation at any time. So let's take a quick listen to this clip of Prime Minister Joe in Parliament.
Further, on August 18, 2023, St. Kitts and Nevis CBI officials, led by Attorney General, met with UK Home Office about our new CBI regulations and practices. On October 26, 2023, our same team of officials met with the U.S. Treasury Department in Florida, along with officials from Caribbean CBI states, to discuss progress on U.S. Caribbean Roundtable 6 agreed principles, Madam Speaker. On January 25, 2024, the team met with EU visa officials in Dominica to update them on new regulations and current practices. Madam Speaker, we have maintained constant dialogue and engagement with our international partners. However, we knew that the prison project had contributed to over 20,000 new citizenships being granted in a short period of time, Madam Speaker. This is the travesty. The travesty in all of this, Madam Speaker. 20,000, Madam Speaker, citizenships, over 20,000 to 25,000 new citizenships being granted in a short period of time. Madam Speaker, let's pause for a moment on that. How can anyone grant 25,000 citizenships for a prison? 25,000 based on the new census, and the Minister of Sustainability is here, Senator Honorable Dr. Joya Clark, that we are about 53,000 residents here in St. Kitts and Nevis, both citizens and residents. 53,000, Madam Speaker. And for a prison, you give up to 25,000 new citizenships. Madam Speaker, this is a travesty. It is borderline treason. On a prison project, you have granted citizenships to up to 25,000 citizens, half of your population. Madam Speaker, if any percentage of those persons were to come here, what will happen to St. Kitts and Nevis? But nobody was thinking about St. Kitts and Nevis. People were thinking about themselves, Madam Speaker. Putting self above nation. This is a travesty. And I want history to record that I informed the people of this. Our children must know this. Our grandchildren must also know this. This cannot be hidden from the people. This is a travesty, Madam Speaker. Any leader who grants 25, 50% of your population in citizenship by investment over prison, any leader who does that, Madam Speaker, should never be able to face the people again. Madam Speaker, this hurts badly, you know. Each time I watch the number, I call the AG. AG, is this real? Is this number real? 25,000 over prison project? In such a short period of time, committing the country to this? Committing the government to this? Madam Speaker, every citizen should be outraged by this. This was totally unnecessary. Our country should not have been subjected to this risk, Madam Speaker.
Yeah, Brother Benta, tap your screen, open your mic there. Welcome to the platform. Brother Benta, go ahead and do your introduction. As I said to you, we have weekly new arrivals as viewers, and they may not know who is Dr. Benta. So you're
Sure, and good afternoon, everyone. Good day, actually. My name is Oakland Benta. I'm a former chief of police of the U.S. Virgin Islands and a former senator of the U.S. Virgin Islands, as well as a former vice president of a telecommunication corporation throughout the world. And of course, an investigator who is working with different agencies alike today. So I will say good afternoon to each and every one of you. But Marisha, I know you said it earlier, and I just can't fathom in my head every time and each and every time that I hear the Honorable Prime Minister Terence Drew make those statements about how many citizens under the CBI were granted. And it still irks me because my question would be to you, since you began to pretty much expose this, has the Prime Minister come out and corrected you on the fact of what he said is not true?
Well, I look forward to the opportunity. As a matter of fact, Brother Benta, yesterday, Tuesday, August 5th, would have cleared 3 years since polling day 2022, when the government of St. Kitts Nevis had changed. And today, the 6th of August, 2025, basically is 3 years since Prime Minister Joe was sworn as Prime Minister. And it's somewhat disturbing to me because on a day like today, I would have loved to have the Prime Minister here on this podcast speaking about what we campaign on and update us and the successes of the past 3 years. But what we are faced with is, as he said, is treasonous behavior by this Prime Minister. At a stroke of a pen, he added upwards of 25, as he said, 1,000 new citizens to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. He put us in harm's way. He put the country in a situation where I do not know if we're going to be able to come back from this. But one thing I like about what he said in that speech, and I hope the people are paying attention, no one that has done this kind of damage to a country should ever be able to come and face the citizens about being reelected. I would hope that the people paid attention to that speech. Because, Brother Benta, words cannot explain this travesty that we're in. Today, August 6, 2025, we are in a worse situation as a country than we were back on August 5th of 2022. Many things that I warned about on this podcast, many things that you warned about could happen on this podcast because of the CBI and the ongoing saga with the MSR media issue. The effects, the ripple effects that can be had on our country and the citizens. They say we were just talking nonsense. To every time I should drop, they make an excuse, as if they're not aware. The Prime Minister, the Foreign Minister, and the Cabinet of Ministers, they are well aware of the situation and they continue to mislead the country. Today, we are hearing of students who have been denied visas to continue their studies in the US. And the Prime Minister and his cabinet, or his colleagues, they're acting like it's something new to them when they know where the problem lies. They are all part of the problem. On the 13th of August 2022, they all went into Warner Park. I witnessed them taking the oath of allegiance to a foreign power. I listened to them take the oath of allegiance to uphold the Constitution. I listened to them taking the oath of allegiance to defend the country. I listened to them take the oath of allegiance to secrecy, where they seem like that is the only thing that they're living up to. Because though they took an oath of allegiance to secrecy, they went into Parliament and said they passed good governance agenda, freedom of information, integrity in public life, and we're not seeing any of that. What we are seeing is a bunch of cover-ups for the criminal activities and the corrupt activities that is ongoing, that they claim during campaign. They convinced me, they convinced this DJ that the farmer administration actions was corrupt, was illegal. They convinced me that that prison project was corruption, it was illegal and should not continue. Upon taking office, that project should stop. Today, that project is in full swing. Today, this sitting Prime Minister, this government, the Juliet Labour administration sit in government, allowing a construction of a prison to continue, and nobody can tell the country whether or not proper construction permits was ever issued for that project. I have spoken to individuals involved in the drafting of those plans for that prison project who told me they never applied for construction permits. So there is no construction permits. So not only we have an illegal project taking place over there, is the cost to the country and the people. Mr. Benter, up to this morning, I was speaking to someone, and it pains me to see the struggle for the small businesses, the poor man. I saw a young man, he younger than me. I was on my way from Sandy Point towards St. Paul's earlier, naked as he born, walking, strolling, going across Le Valley Road there. I look at that, you got to be have a mental issue. The mental health, the health system here in St. Kitts Nevis is in a mess. The Prime Minister is the Minister of Health. And they want to tell this DJ that with all that taking place in the Federation at this time, that this government is good for this country, for these people. And I'm saying no. The sooner we get rid of them, is the better, you know. I'm going to play a clip here, Brother Benter, because some weeks ago, my boy Sam Kanda and my cousin Dr. Martin and Jamie had a conversation on Freedom FM. And today, I came across something on social media. I understand that the son of Marcus Garvey is in our beloved Federation, and there is some events that took place, and there is something that they're saying that they're going to do some area in Sandy Point in honor of Marcus Garvey and stuff like that. I welcome all of these kind of projects if that will ever come to fruition. But in as much as I come here and I call out Sam on a weekly basis, as I reflect on his contribution to our beloved Federation, I think I need to give Sam some kind of statue as well, you know. Because this guy takes so much blows like a bongo drum and so much kick all around like a football that wherever they give him, he take and run with it, you know. Couple of weeks ago, Sam is telling us about these government ministers who are no good. Somebody on the program said they need to get new politician from Amazon. My good cousin Dr. Martin chimed in. But 2 weeks later, Sam is appointed to some board. And he's trying to string things differently. But I want the general public, my online viewers, to hear Sam speaking frankly prior to him getting a muzzle.
I think we have a people who are paying attention. In those comments, most of the comments, people are paying attention to the ebb and flow of the political arena, because that's where the political leaders come from. And I firmly believe, and I'm open to be challenged, that the days of the loyal section, the must win, must vote for me, those days are diminishing.
Yep. They're gone.
Yep. Well,
that's right.
That's right. Well,
the electorate has changed.
I could have argued up until the 1990s that both PAM and Labour had a 40%, 30%, 40% loyal following. I don't see that anymore, and that in the electorate, in the body of the electorate, there is a 60-70% whose vote has to be sought. Notice I didn't say bought. Sought. And so it's this both.
The political party gets support when they deserve it.
And I forgot the author of this. Another person said.
We don't know that to be a fact because Trump won.
Well, he won fairly.
We don't know if he deserved it.
He won fairly. The elections are won and lost by people who show up to vote, and he got his people out.
Elections have consequences.
And so the persons who have this must-win mentality in their head, I wish to have a conversation with them, because I don't accept that there's any must-win. Anyway, we have to fight.
And the politicians have to do the work.
Have to fight.
They have, and there are no. Well, apart from maybe constituency 6, there are no safe seats in St. Kitts and Nevis. Well, let me not speak for Nevis, but there are no safe seats in St. Kitts anymore.
Yeah, man.
Which one?
6 and 3.
Yeah, that's what I said. 3?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about that.
Well,
but 6 maybe.
I think. Well, I'm going to end by saying it's going to be a very, very hot topic when there's boundaries change.
Yeah.
The boundaries changing?
When there's boundaries changing.
They have to change.
Well, we join the boundaries.
Yeah.
They have
make
to
them
change.
constitutional. I think all bets are off. You have new calculus.
Yeah.
And so again, I want to end by saying, we, the people, the electorate, have to insist on the political parties that they put up the best people to run, because we cannot afford idiots in Church Street. And where's the NIA located? And Charlestown. Cannot afford that.
Mr. Conda, any final words?
Yeah, I think these are really interesting times.
Very.
And people think, I think people don't give politics and politicians the credit and the admiration and think that is due. I say that this is something that I enjoy doing and will do it again.
You would?
I would do it again.
He has not thrown in the towel, that's what he said.
I will do it. Not now, not I'll
no,
go
I
back
understand.
to
I understand.
In a new life.
I don't know what Dr. Martin was trying to do, but I understood what you meant.
That's the thing. And this is an honorable thing. This is a good thing. And people have to learn to differentiate between service to the people and parasites. I mean,
do we have a lot of parasites in politics?
I always saying that the most sacred duty of a citizen is to vote. Without government, life will be nasty, short and brutish.
But you know, I can.
There's nothing wrong with the politics. It is the people who are involved in
I
what
can
they do.
also understand that sometimes people become disenchanted with politicians, as the person wrote that. You know, the person wrote that all the politicians bad.
Yeah,
no,
all the
right?
politicians.
But people have that notion that a lot of times people enter politics not for the good that they can do for the people, but the good that they can do for themselves.
Absolutely.
Right? So that makes people not really want to go out to vote. So it is the politician's job and the job of conversations such as these to educate people about the importance of making the right decision.
You know something, and we're talking about the resignation.
We're still speaking on the adjournment. We're still speaking on the adjournment.
Yeah, brother Benta, tap your screen, open your mic there. Now, you can hear my cousin, Dr. Martin, and Sam Kanda and Jamie conversation there. They all agree. They live here. They're hearing what's going on the street. They experience it. All the politicians in the office right now are bad. That is the fact.
No, listening, Jamie seems to be the one with the more balance of understanding. You mentioned 2 constituency, 3 and 6 that are safe. Those, I'm not familiar with who those are. I don't know if you want to speak about those 2 for the people to have an idea what 3 is, well, externally.
Constituency 3 is where Congress Maynard represent. And that seat is definitely not safe. That is not safe. So Jamie was correct when she said the only safe seat might be number 6. And number 6 is in a deep decline. Because as I said some months back in May, Dr. Douglas came on the podium there just before the Labor Day march, and he actually was seeing spirits, because I sat there and heard him making a speech that as he looked to the end of his hand, he could see people all the way up to the bridge. Now, I remember the days as a little boy living in St. Kitts, that the crowd used to pass the bridge. But of late, recently, as I said, a 20 by 20 tent is too big for that crowd, or was too big for that crowd. If you had 25 people there, you had a lot. You had more security forces than actually people who came to the meeting. And people are not just, don't just show up to the meeting. They voice their opinion. I hear them all the time. They are fed up. They're tired of the bullshit. Back in the days, people used to enjoy Douglas chatting his shit about when people talk about national debt. He would say, national debt me ass, and those kind of stuff. He had jingles like shake your keys for people who may have gotten houses from the government. But I can tell you today that many of those people that got those houses are not paying for them. The government is scrunting to recoup monies from those homes because the people are not paying their rent. They're not paying their mortgage. And as I listen to Dwyer speak and Sam, people got to understand that these recycled politicians, it's time that we get rid of them because they're not good for the country, for the future of this country. I'm going to drop a clip here when Dr. Douglas, under his leadership, took us to the IMF because of national debt. I think Timothy Harris, Sam Kanda, and Dwyer was part of his cabinet. Taking us to the IMF costs us now have to pay VAT. Value added tax, 17%. So let's take a listen.
The IMF is on our doorsteps. And so we need to take action now to accelerate the reduction of our public debt and strengthen the public finances in order to reduce our own vulnerability to this global crisis that we are engulfed in. The Central Bank and the IMF have agreed to provide technical assistance to us here in St. Kitts and Nevis, but to date we have not had to commit to any IMF program. If we are to keep it this way, we must take action now, my comrades and friends. We must improve our revenue collection processes. We must consolidate our indirect taxes, form a comprehensive value-added tax that would replace a dozen such taxes. And that is why on your seats this morning you met a booklet and a pamphlet that speaks to the value-added tax, the VAT, the VAT, which must now become the center of discussion, not only in our communities, but in our party, as various forums must be put in place so that our people can understand what we are doing and defend the government action in this regard.
So
I want to say tonight.
So like I said, Brother Benter, this is yet another era of a Labour administration squander the money of our beloved Federation, put the citizens at risk, and come back to you and tell you now we need to impose some kind of charges on you for benefit. We got the VAT under the Denzel Douglas-led Labour administration. They use that as a tool every couple of months, holidays and whatever, back to school, and say that VAT-free day, as they're doing people a favor. Political gimmick, messing with the minds of the people, that they're helping the people to save a couple of dollars because they don't have to pay the 17%. They might only have to pay 5%. What even more ironic with this is that under the Team Unity administration with Timothy Harris championed and said that he paid off the debt to the IMF that Douglas left there. My question to Timothy Harris then and now, you paid off the debt to the IMF. Why you never remove that value-added tax from the citizens? Why the citizens still have to be paying the 17% value-added tax? This current administration campaign about the VAT as well, you know. They campaign about it. They went in there and for 6 months, they reduced it to 13%. It's now back as of July 1st of this year to 17%. These ministers of government are squanderers. I remember Timothy saying that Mark Brantley can't spend, he squanders money. Well, what I'm seeing in this Drew-led administration is worse. Because if we go back to the fact, when this government took office in 22, the first thing he did, he came to the country and said he met money in the treasury, money is there. And I guess someone in his cabinet hit him over his head and asked him, what stupid is he doing? You cannot go and tell the country money is there. We got to make it look like the money was there. He came back and said the country was in the red. The tapes are there, the audios and the videos are there. He came back and he talked about how bad the country is in debt, but he was able to give a double salary on his birthday. And when regional journalists asked him, where did he find money from? If the country is in a mess because Antigua and the other regional countries are struggling after COVID, where do you find money to give a double salary? He said that you put something away for rainy days. But the previous government, the Team Unity administration led by Dr. Harris, would have been the government that put away that money for rainy days. So give Timothy the credit. Give Team Unity the credit. but his lies continue and continue. But Brother Benter, I know you're a Caribbean man, and I know you love music. My good friend King Fancy did a song the same year we went into the IMF for Carnival. I'm going to drop that track right now because I want people to understand that what the DJ is saying. The DJ not just making up these stories. These are factual information. This song was coming from Fancy to Prime Minister Douglas at the time. You are the one.
Our nation plagued by rumors of corruption, maladministration, ruled by 10 men in one. This nation, national debt 3 billion or more, no relief for the poor, creditors standing outside the door. How will we survive when at 55 some find themselves unemployed, only to reap what job security is once enjoyed? Since you're at the helm, you must take the blame for this nation's adversities, which was brought about by bad leadership policies. For you are the one who tells sugar workers that the sugar industry will go on indefinitely, closed over your dead body. You are the one who promised us that employment would be plenty at Whitegate and Lavallee and the stevia industry. You are the one who tell the nation we can't go bankrupt because we got land. Even with money you limiting me, but selling big to the foreign man. You, yes you are the one. You're the leader who wants no transparency, no accountability to the people of this country. Supreme leader, the one retarding progress of this country in a mess, in the hands of the IMF. It was you who claimed the economy was as solid as a rock. Only last January, boy, everything been a war. But then 10 months later, what a disaster, the whole thing was just like that. We saw increased taxes and the introduction of that. Yes, you are the one. When questions about the nation's finances was, you certainly showed no class. Responding public debt me ask. You are the one. We insulted the intelligence of the citizenry when you said that our country could be run from a BlackBerry. You implied that it was your son whose name was on a check for several thousand. It was you who claimed without shame that you're bad since you born. You, yes you are the one. You're the leader, self-proclaimed unstoppable force, lived in this country of course, going from bad to worse. Supreme leader, a stranger to the truth, bad influence for the youth, and this you cannot dispute. Here of your brag and boast with no remorse of your capability to incite the youth to wreak havoc in this country. When all was said and done, we then went on hailing them as freedom fighters. Small wonder we are now infested with gangsters. You are the one who tell the parents to bring their children to town. Forget education, come throw bottle and stone. You are the one who ranted and raved and threatened revolution. If certain politician was to ever gain election, political rejection claim must be won. They can turn you off when you get turned on. You make me to understand if you want a man, Miss Obama, would I get on? You, yes you are the one. Yeah.
Yes, Brother Bent, I hope you enjoy that calypso. The music.
I sure did. I sure did. I sure did. Several things you said here earlier, I'm listening very carefully, and the citizens, many are asking the question if they really do understand the new imposition that is being levied against countries. Malawi is one of those for now, under the CBI program, right? And I've read some commentaries as I'm listening to the song as well, where individuals are lobbying and saying, well, maybe the country needs to shut down its borders to the United States as well. I would caution that sort of discussion and more on the education side of it as to why is the United States taking these steps. And we must realize that if anyone comes to your house and knocks on your door, you have the right to open and let them in or not. If I said you got to take your shoes off at the door before you step into my house and you opt not to, it is my decision whether to let you in or not. What's happening under the CBI program, and we need to understand that millions or billions of dollars under this very program, which was a program or is a program that was recognized, identified, not only by the Caribbean islands, but also with the United States, based on an agreement how the program will be handled, including the EU, right? The European nation. Some people in listening to what the Prime Minister Drew represented of the meetings that they've had with the State Department and others to show that they have been working within the standards of what's required under the agreement for the CBI program. But in actuality, what was taking place, because words are easy, reading a script is easy, the functionalities as far as what they were doing or have done have been in breach of what the agreement is when it came to the vetting, the due diligence, as far as who is in fact Tom Jones that we spoke about. And when we've read the new movement with the State Department, as far as individuals under the CBI program, when our leaders are saying something different to what's actually taking place, the citizens who are impacted, you mentioned the students who've been told as far as they may not be able to get the visas to travel to school. Some may look at that as, okay, so what? They can stay at home and go to school at home. But we're not looking at the bigger picture. And the picture that's being given illumination is the corruption, right? The mistrust or distrust, and no more confidence in, and can't be trusted under any circumstances, because what we take for granted is death to many other people, for individuals who are moving through the back doors for a reason. So to say we can also impose the same thing in the United States, I want to remind people there's several actions that exist out there that people got to be very cognizant of. We have what you call sea trade. Sea trade is where all the countries, so the Caribbean, other places, mostly out of Florida, there's one in Europe, that countries go to attract cruise ship industry to your shores. I was reading several postings by the Prime Minister of how many thousands of people, all right, are disembarking ships at this day in St. Kitts. I'm reading very carefully, and he's correct. However, what he's not explaining, if in fact, as I've read one commentary from Antigua, for instance, right? And one of the commentary from the Minister of Foreign Affairs is declaring that they will not be bullied. Our foreign policies is one of principle. Our foreign policies are of one principle. But if you're violating the treaty or violating the process, and individuals are coming through who you yourself don't know who they really are, just for the mere fact of how much you can make, how are you, in any retrospect, retrospect, talk about your policy is one of principle? The Prime Minister declared by his own verbiage the deceit and the lies that he compounded into his presentation to the people, much less to the United States of America. Because at the end, his signature bears the cross, or bears the oath, or bears the burden of the action that is being imposed now and will come to the other CBI countries, because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. How do we change that? When the leader of the country still had not come to date, as you said earlier, every single thing that was said about the CBI issue, the government has to come forward and spoken to the people and explain to them that this is a crisis. So I spoke about sea trade, right? And that's the segment that deals with the cruise ship industry, where members from each of the Caribbean country travel to Florida, Fort Lauderdale. They sit in and sit with Michelle Page, who is pretty much responsible primarily for a lot of the cruise aspect of coming to your country. How many ships are you going to get for your country this year, every day, whatever day, however it's set up? How many people will be on those ships? You negotiate through a program of confidence where people will trust that where these individuals are going to is a safe haven for travel. Now, how do you now change by saying now, or try to infiltrate something in the minds of people that is okay to hide some certain parts because the other side ain't smart enough? They're stupid. They will never catch this. We have this covered because we're smarter than everybody else. We're smarter and better than the rest. But this has now shown a different page, a different passage for what's to become of the people. If it is, as I'm reading, and some are being a fool with what you're saying in some instances, that is said that sanctions are imposed on companies. Oh, the CBI issue is not an issue. Remember they were saying that. There's nothing wrong here. They keep emphasizing the individuals who are, many who were on the chat before, I don't see them commenting anymore, right? One in particular, I don't hear him anymore because I know that he got a notice, because based on part of what's happening, is it said that if you committed a crime, whether it's rape, pedophilia, robbery, and many other those aspects, that you may be subjected to be relinquished of your citizenship. It is there already. It's on the move. So while warnings were foretold by us to the nation, we need to take a step forward and fix it. And you made a move to get that done. But the Prime Minister of the country, the Honorable Terence Drew, thought it was funny to make a commentary of individuals who were trying to shake him down for education purposes, which were being passed on to him and his Attorney General. They made a mockery of the fact and then came to the public and emphatically said to the people of the country that there is no issue. This is what they said. But later, as things began to amount, many were saying, well, no, they're not talking about us. They're not going to do anything. There's nothing that's happening. There's nothing. There was a cutoff date. There was a cutoff date of August 13th for certain things to be in place. I don't think they realize what's happening. And while this date is fastly approaching, there has not been an address to the people who are now going through an early intervention by blackened young souls from furthering their education by way of moving from the country on a student visa to the United States. Now, when we say, well, that's the United States, that's their business. But understand how the business structure works when it comes to your economy and diversifying your economy. And the one is the biggest breadwinner, I would think, is tourism. That's your breadwinner, right? So we spoke about the sea trade for the cruise ship. However, the other one that comes into play is the Open Skies Agreement. The Open Skies Agreement deals with airlines, your airport, coming from destination within the United States to the country. How many airlifts of a significant magnitude that comes from Europe and lands in St. Kitts? And contrary to how much of those that travel from the United States that comes into St. Kitts, what are you prepared to lose? What are you prepared to not have anymore if tourism is your main industry? And don't let me waste my time and bring in the Marriott Hotel to individuals I sent to St. Kitts to build a Marriott Hotel. Don't let me waste my time. Don't let it be in vain that individual who has spoken up for the country, now individuals who lead the country in a position to know better and know better, are working the formula differently for self-aggrandizement or enrichment on the backs of the people who will be the individuals who will suffer. If hotel industry, as far as hospitality is one of the training that I see a lot of that's going on for the Caribbean diaspora. And you begin to lose that. What do you think happened to those individuals that work in these environments? From the bars to the restaurant, into the hotel room cleaning, all these other things that goes with it, not only in the hotel grounds, but those individuals that own restaurants outside of the hotels, that owns bars outside of the hotels, that have events that brings lucrative amount of people, just like your music fest. How do you think the wash span of people coming in there for the music fest every year? And then you have a sanction levied against you because individuals are not thinking rationally, but thinking for themselves, or thinking or reading that somebody else wrote for them, but with no clarity understand that the bilateral discussions that they're having is the bilateral discussion requested by the country. They didn't explain to the country that they turned to the United States and listen, we need to revisit this and have a discussion. But bilateral discussions were taking place in an attempt to skirt or hide the failure or the negligence of individuals who sit in control of your government, that they have defied the rules and committed several crimes in the process. How about that? So in educating the people not only about election, but what is your niche for your country to grow? What's your niche? Is it agriculture? Is it fishing? What is your niche that brings the pound per the dollar to your shores for people to survive more so? You have the direct and the indirect effect. The direct is the airlines and the cruise ship that comes in. Airlines is valued at another level because then you have overnight passengers who stays in your hotel for 4 or 5 a week days in your hotel, 5 days, 7 days, depending. And then you have the indirect. And the indirect are those, the transportation with taxis, the water sports if you have events, the dinners and so forth to go other places, and the excursions and the tours. Those are the indirect. Those individuals that have taxis, the fishermen that fish and provides for the restaurants, the individuals who own gas stations, and it goes on and on to the indirects. So some would just say, well, it must just be just the hotels alone, right, that are impacted. It is also the indirect. And the indirect is vital, and very important for the people as far as paying the same discussion, the VAT, right? They got to pay this VAT, as you said. It was paid off under the Timothy Harris administration, but it would never removed from the books because, of course, it's being collected any which way. How do you fabric the stage to say that we're okay when this may be another direction based on some of the responses that they would think that we were untouchable? While these things is coming to the shores, we are the leaders to speak up on what they're going to do to protect these quality assurances and avenues for your people. If it is that you can survive without the tourist industry, well, fine. Then you don't need it. You don't need the hotels. Because if tourism is not an issue, you don't need it. You don't need to have that airport for visitors who pay a head tax or fee to come into your country. Because there's a percentage, I don't know how much it is, but every passenger that comes in pays a head tax coming into the country at the airport, right? So we don't know what it is. They know what it is. So what do you say? You don't need that anymore. So you can survive without the American side of the charters, aircraft or sea, as a cruise ship or the private yachts, the private jets or the commercial jets, or the commuters that comes in with individuals who fly into St. Martin from the United States, but catch Winair or Inter-Caribbean or one of those airlines to get there, but the destination started from the United States in, and the sanction is placed against the country. No American can fly into the country, whether to go to St. Kitts or not, without being detected unless they have dual citizenship with 2 passports, right? So the indirect, you are impacted if you are a person who works in the industry, whether you're housekeeping, a bartender, or gardener, or someone that deals with some part of the front desk manager or front desk operator, or concierge, or you're in the casinos, and you work in these areas, you are impacted. You are impacted because as they begin to lose revenues as far as overnight visitors in the rooms, then of course they have to make adjustments, and you call it attrition by letting people go because they can't sustain paying you indirect. And while individuals at the restaurants who are waitresses and so forth, so bartenders, And of course, you don't have that traffic coming through your doors. You also, based on, as a manager, I'm going to say I cannot afford to pay 4 bartenders because of what I'm having. I'm going to reduce the 4 bartenders to 2 or to 1 per shift. And it goes on to the waitresses, the same thing. If there's only 5 people coming to a restaurant that can hold 80, and there's only 5, do I need 9, 10 waitresses? These are the sort of discussions we need to be having about where the country is going, if not being attended to with proper governance. You see what I'm saying, my brother, Norsha?
Yes, sir. I got you. And as I listen to you speaking, I cannot help but thanking Brother Martinez there, Brother Philip Martinez, for his interest in the country and the people. Because where we are today, hadn't been for the lawsuit, the information that I hold, that the US government holds and many others have, we would not have that information. And it opened up a can of worms that did not have to be opened had we had a prime minister or his colleagues who was willing to listen to reasoning. Because a lot of these things that are taking place today that is affecting the country and the citizens is a spin-off from that CBI, whether they want to accept it or not. It's a spin-off from that problem. And as we get deeper into that CBI situation, Mr. Benter, you heard the song there where the King Fonzie outlined many things that was done by the former Prime Minister, Dr. Douglas. And as I reflect on this Christophe Harbour situation, we found out of late, which we weren't aware of, some of the details that was in that agreement that was made, where funding came through Christophe Harbour via the SIDF, via the National Bank. And not only that, our coastline was basically given away to Christophe Harbour, some 12 miles out to sea. So this politician was not only just bad, they're wicked, because even Mastercard seawater, they basically sell off. Which government has the right to sell the seawater around the islands? What happened to the fishermen and the people that want to use our coastline? What was the thinking of the individuals then that was writing this agreement or signing this agreement? That you're going to give away even 12 miles out to sea of our coastline to Christophe Harbour. And what is even more sickening now is to listen to the Prime Minister some weeks ago at his square table trying to convince the DJ, because he talking, and I do not know if people really paying attention, but the DJ is paying attention. The Prime Minister is saying that the discontinued MSR, the options to sell their CBI because they did not live up to their contractual arrangement. Well, MSR just got the agreement with the country, I think it was in 23, 24. They got some agreement when they bought the OTI. They got some shares and they had to do whatever. So within a year, this government sees fit not to work with the MSR group and Mr. Martinez to get the OTI up and running while people are employed there, making a salary. But they was willing to work with Christophe Harbour, who had that project for some 20 years, was supposed to bring in some 17 billion, I understand, which they did not produce their contractual arrangement. But the Prime Minister is trying to tell the DJ that that arrangement where Christophe Harbour got from the previous Labour administration, the previous Prime Minister, Dr. Douglas, where he gave them some 12 miles of our coastline out to sea, that is still intact. After 20 years, of not fulfilling their agreement to the country, their arrangement, their contract is still intact after 20 years. And they were allowed to sell whatever assessments in the marina and sell to other investors. Taxes were waived, I understand. It's mind-boggling to see that these politicians, they think people are dumb. They're not politicians, they're tricksters, they're gangsters. Because if you put the two arrangements side by side, the one with MSR Media for the OTI Hotel, next to the Christoph Harbour Agreement for 20 years, and compare them, they just don't add up. They just does not add up. Now, there's another situation I was looking at there, where Dwyer spoke about the prison project, some 5,000 files. Dwyer is not 5,000 files. It's over 5,500 files. According to Prime Minister Joe, those 5,500 files bring some 22 to 25,000 citizenships, passport bodies added to our 53,000 nationals that live on the island. So we have to really pay close attention to these lies. And today, the 3rd anniversary of our beloved Federation, you know, the Christina disaster back in 1970, 71, whenever that happened, I think it's 1970, that was a disaster. Today, we have a similar disaster in our beloved Federation. And it's self-inflicted because there are people that have the facts, Brother Benter. There are people in position that have the facts and refuse to call out these bad actors that is killing our country. Like I said, I heard there were some things about Marcus Garvey's son in the Federation today. There was some event in Sandy Point and something in Bastille. I guarantee you, if this gentleman have the information, somebody were to give him the information that I am presenting to you this evening, he won't take any pictures with these guys. That does not represent the ideology of Marcus Garvey or his son. They're imposters. They're criminals. Simple as that. What they have done to this country, there are many citizens in the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis that has been affected by these gangsters. People regionally, people internationally. In the last couple of weeks have spoken to me about what this government, this July Labour administration, what they have done to its people and continue to do. For those out there that is believing all of this fakeness, because there's a lot of fake pages, ghost pages created on social media that will be creating some of those responses that you spoke about, Mr. Benter. Nobody with common sense is going to talk about closing down the borders of St. Kitts Nevis to US citizens. The reality is that we have more citizens live outside in other countries than what we have live in St. Kitts and Nevis. The realities are people in St. Kitts Nevis depend on the remittance that comes from their people overseas to keep them alive. Because in this beloved Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, look at the government that we have. The former administration had, I guess, the PEPA, the STEP program, where they were giving allowances to some citizens of $500 a month to assist them, to help with their bills or whatever they have to do. This Labour administration campaign that if they get into office, they will give these people $1,500. They got into office and they eliminated it. They did not even step it up a bit. They eliminated it. They come back and they give you some JAD app bullshit for $250 a month for 6 months, and then that is gone. They went into parliament and they take an increase for themselves of 33%. These are facts. The crowd was so small for Labor Day March that they encouraged citizens in our beloved communities to send their little kids to be pom-pom girls to magnify their crowd. They turn around and they charge these little kids $20 to register to become a pom-pom girl, while they're getting constituency allowances for each constituency. They don't have no heart. My partner tell me in their chest is a 9-volt battery. That's what my partner tell me. They don't have no heart in the chest. This Labour administration led by Dr. Jew is the worst thing that I have ever experienced in my lifetime. I have traveled the globe. I have represented workers and management as a union rep in New York for upward of 20, almost 30 years. This is the worst treatment I have seen any human get. Animals out there get better treatment than what this government is doing for its people. I can challenge them on that because I have lived it. I have experienced it. I tried to get them to turn the line. As I said today, 3 years, 36 months since this government took office. The Prime Minister stood in Warner Park on inauguration day on the 13th of August 2022 and proclaimed he's the Prime Minister for all. He's the Prime Minister for the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. To date, the Prime Minister still cannot make the time to go to Nevis and have a town hall meeting with the people of Nevis. There is no care in the world. The up and down and plane from the UK to South Africa to Taiwan and God knows where else. Tell me him and the Premier kissing up and hugging up. But they're still fighting with this fair share matter. My good people, I'm going to drop a clip here right now. It's a very hot afternoon here, evening here in our beloved Federation. And there's a lot to say, a lot of information to give out, which cannot be done in 2 hours. But I'm going to do my best to give you as much information as possible within that time frame. And I want us to understand something for those of you who may have short memories. Today, the 6th of August, during this time last year, we were here on a daily basis searching for a brother, a friend, a father, an uncle, an icon by the name of Conce Edwards, aka the Buffalo Soldier, aka the Lord Black. And before the program finished this afternoon, this evening, I intend to drop a few of his songs in memory of him and to give some support to his family. Because the 1st of August made an year last Friday. 1 year since Lord Black left his place of residence at a home in Sadlers and never made it back. When the forces and the people gave up on the search for Brother Black, this DJ kicked into gear and reached out to the then acting Prime Minister, Jeffrey Hanley, and the Commissioner of Police, Brother Sutton. Tomorrow, the 7th of August 2025, will clear exactly 1 year. And I had someone in my vehicle with me that heard me, spoke to the acting Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Minister, this our beloved Federation, the non-caring Deputy Prime Minister, Jeffrey Hanley, of our beloved Federation. When I realized that they were giving up on the search for Conce Edwards, I made a phone call to the Commissioner of Police. I did not get him. I made a phone call to Jeffrey Hanley. I did not get him. When I came out of the shower, I met a message saying he missed a call from this number. Who is it and what it's about? I messaged him. I told him who it was and what it's about. No response from that deputy prime minister, that acting prime minister at the time. As God always works within my zone, God put me in the position in Newtown where I saw Jeffrey Hanley in the back of a black vehicle. And when I pulled up on the 7th of August of 2024, and I challenged him, good afternoon, Honorable. God really know how to put me in a position when you're all running up and down the place. His response was, Mr. Marisha, what is it now? I explained to him, I was trying to reach out to him about getting some assistance in the search for Conce Edwards. His response was, he was traveling and he just came back the night before and heard of Conce's situation. I don't believe him. He lies too much. I didn't believe him then, and more so now, I don't believe him. The bottom line is, from the 7th of August of 24 to this date, the 6th of August 2025, I am still waiting for that phone call from Jeffrey. But on the 21st of August, Conce's funeral, he was in the church. Dr. Douglas was in the church. At the Springfield Cemetery, I saw him and Congress Maynard, the representative for number 3, at the cemetery. I look at them putting wreath and the grave of Lord Black. To date, still the family has no closure. The Minister of Health, the Prime Minister, and the Ministry of Health has been contacted on numerous occasions, not only by myself, but family members and others, and all you get is a bunch of bull. My good people, I said it then, and I'm going to say it now. All of these situations that have taken place must add up to one thing. Whenever the time comes, this government must be gone. They don't care about us. They have no love for us. The Prime Minister made it clear in his presentation in Parliament. Any government that will go out there and give away 25,000 or 22,000 passports for a prison project should not face the people again. I know many of you out there who had your complaints just as I am, just as I did. You all might get a little board, position on a board. You all may have get a little couple of dollars so you all feel good. And you all don't want to lose the opportunity. Stop thinking about yourself. Think about the country. Think about the future, your kids' future, and what this government is doing to this country. That's what you all need to do. Because coming at the DJ, cussing the DJ, not going to stop me from presenting and bringing the information that need to be brought. Before going to the next segment, since I'm on this roll, I'm going to talk about the 2,400 homes, smart homes, the revolutionary housing scheme that the Prime Minister says was supposed to come on board by the East Coast. But Mr. Prime Minister, this is the DJ talking to you. As a matter of fact, let me skip straight down to that clip. Let me skip straight to that clip and talk about that clip straight one time. Because this Deputy Prime Minister, his lies then don't even hold up for 2 seconds. So let's go straight here.
As you know, as a country, we engage the East Coast Housing Development in assisting us in delivering some homes. Unfortunately, the 600 homes that we were anticipating, with all of the challenges that we might have been experiencing, not us so much as a government, but the investor, that has caused some delays. These matters are being worked on, and what I said to the Federation is that based on the contractual arrangement that we would have signed, the AG office, of course, is working on ensuring that the government's interest, which it is protected. But
again, my good people, that was from some conference that the Deputy Prime Minister tried to play some hoops to mislead the country. I have the information, Honorable Jeffrey Handy, Prime Minister. I have the overall information on that process. The individuals, the connection to St. Kitts, how they get here, and everything. I have all of that information. And to say, if the DJ have that information, you should know that people have it. The DJ had to get that information from someplace. And you all need to come to the country and tell the country the truth. Tell the country the truth about that process. Because you all know exactly who, what, where, and when. You all campaign about getting rid of a corrupt government. I stand shoulder to shoulder to ensure that the corruption is gone. You all gone in there, the corruption continues on steroids. That is where the problem is at. The corruption continues on steroids.
You know, DJ, in actuality, they actually took it away from the other entity and made it their own. But when you have individuals who have family members and they think they can skirt what the facts are, and they hid behind the whole thing with this housing project, the guy from Trinidad, I'm calling it AG to come up and talk to the people and let them know what's going on, because it's going to come out that people within this very government who are affiliated with families work into a backdoor and hid businesses under family members' names. It's actually a business that was held by people who actually are from St. Kitts and Nevis and using the back door of this guy from Trinidad as a front just to mask what was really going on. But it got out of hand. It got out of control, where there's some smart people from St. Kitts began to put things together and others on the outskirts and put things together. So this guy didn't run away. He didn't just disappear. Is that the truth was being raveled and revealed, and they needed to shut it down because it was out of control. That's what happened. And you're right, DJ Marisha. They knew and know. The AG knows. Attorney General, you know what really went on with that housing project and who was really the person or the face for that from St. Kitts and Nevis. You know, AG. You know, just like the judge told you about you not paying your social side of it, the social security side of it, that you obscured and hid behind your authority. You hid your family behind the authority of these funds for a reason. You know exactly what transpired. And you are the one who are going to have to tell the people about which one of your family member is the one who was fronting it for you and some of the ministers of the country. That's going to have to come to the forefront.
But it's going to come eventually. And I just want the general public to know something. People is asking, oh, Marisha, when is the US going to this, when the US is going to that? My good people, pay attention to all the lies that is being told. You all have enough information already to make your own decision. Enough damage has been done. Enough people are struggling. Enough lies has been told. I have come here weekly and tell you guys what's going on. Now, we spoke about what to come, and it's coming. I want to play a clip here, Brother Benter, and I want to hear Dr. Douglas, the foreign minister, trying to explain the situation of the visa to the country.
We have had situations where some of our students who would have been there in the United States on US visas for studies. We understand that some of them have been denied visas in attempting to return. I mention those because these will naturally form the basis on which the government of St. Kitts and Nevis will engage the United States of America to ensure that our own people, especially those who are not violators, that they do not suffer from some of the policies that have been introduced by the new Trump administration.
So, Brother Benta, again, the foreign minister, former prime minister, is trying to give the impression to the country that these restrictions is about the new Trump guidelines. No, it's about the bad things that you all have done to this country. The CBI, that is the root cause of the problems that we are having. The crimes that you guys have committed against your citizens and investors, foreign and direct investors, that is why we're having the problem. The bad seed that was planted. And many of these newly elected members of government who stand on platforms and promise to do the right thing, they get there and things look good for them, so they continue down that road. It's as simple as that, you know. It's just as simple as that.
I'm going to have to, because a lot of the ministers are blaming Trump for what's taking place. But the thing is, they're not blaming themselves for some of the action and inaction that has been taking place amongst their control or their realm of control within their government. And as the shortage of that created a fast track forward for what's happening today, this was imminent. It was going to happen at some given time. It just has been fast tracked. And it's not Trump, but the laws of the United States are there in the books. So I will go to the laws of the country. There's are laws on the books of St. Kitts and Nevis. But who are the violators of those laws? Isn't it the administrators or the enforcers of the laws, primarily who has the state for or against to move forward in prosecution? It shows that this is an avenue news where President Trump, President of the United States, and the ministers of the OECS countries, prime ministers and ministers, everybody's working it way for their strength. However, the cognitive side of this is who is on the losing end. And that's where we got to look at it. Now, Denzel Douglas is a person I admire very much from a young man growing up, being around Bradshaw and those guys coming forward. And of course, my team working with Denzel Douglas with the Marriott Hotel. It's been a pleasure. Now, I would say to the members and men and women of the country that there's so much that we have to take all of the personalities off our shoulders with and wash our clothes properly. Let's take them off and wash them and put them on fresh with a better eye and see what really is under the magnifying glass as we look at it carefully. Why is all this pushback taking place under the CBA program? And because I know, as far as these individuals that has accounts all over the place, it is just a frenzy that will become a piranha site. Individuals beginning to eat each other. There's someone that spoke as he played with Sam when he played or made a statement. He spoke about service and parasite. And this is where we are now. We're not at the service anymore. The service is one thing, but the parasite that has created the lull in what you're going through today, the parasite are those who are stealing from you. The parasites are those who continue to hide behind a curtain of denial when they know for a fact that they're involved and what they've done. Those are the parasites. So Sam said it well, right? There's a part to do with service and parasite. I know his intention was to push the parasite off to the other side. But when you can steal from your own people, take bread out of their mouth, take their history, their foundation, and their heritage away from them, just by the blow of one nostril, one breath, because you can do it out of the stroke of a pen, and say, I don't care because I am going to get mine. This is what's happening when you change the trajectory of enforcement or governance of your country. How do we change that? How do we transplant the right thoughts into people's mind? Are we going to wait? Is a country or are the countries going to wait? What I can say to the Prime Minister of Grenada, he's not waiting. And he's moving fast ahead because he's the only one that realized I got to drink this bush tea properly, or not coffee, but he's drinking bush tea because he realized, hey, it's no longer a secret. What you think is not known is known. What you think that will never be detected is already detected. What you think that will never happen is on its way to your doorstep. But Ralph is taking a step to work and cooperate and doing certain things with the outside agencies, the EU and the United States. It's not just, when you blame Trump, you're not blaming the EU as well, the European nation? You're not blaming them as well for what they have uncovered as well? You're not blaming Interpol as well? You're not? How can that be where it's just one side for seeing something that is very blatant and very clear and very direct to whom and who the players are that's actually involved in the corruption? It's known, guys. This is another episode, DJ, that we're coming to them again. Like we sat with the Prime Minister and said, Mr. PM, Mr. AG, this is going to happen. All of a sudden, the CBI issue is such a landscape. The MSR group came in and they didn't explain. They spent time with the federal agencies and explained when the government itself closed their eyes to correcting the issue. This is how this thing became this way, The people of the country closed their eyes at the MSR group when they said, guys, let's work this out and let's work it amongst us here. They allowed for Martinez to take this to the federal agencies, and here comes the big curtain being drawn. Bright sunlight with these big glass windows that you could see clearly based on what he presented. You, the ministers of St. Kitts and Nevis, you, the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Drew in particular, you draw the attention to your country by your own negligence. And under your own version that you played the DJ Marisha, it irks my stomach when I hear that recording. Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker. And he goes deep into expressing his disgust and disgrace. And I hear that, DJ, I think you're going to give me a migraine by playing that every time you play. I think that he went to one of the MSR classes when they were giving students lessons in theatrics. Because this animation, it's unfounded in my heart for a man who's a leader to be able to be so profound and get me to stand up in attention when I first heard it, when it was all theatrics. So you have the actor, Mr. Martinez, be looking for an actor. That's a very good one because the nation believed him. The people believed him. The country in its entirety believed that this man was speaking prudency to facts of correcting the wrong, when in fact he was just paving the way for his own self to sound good only. The sound bite was good. I don't think they needed the microphone when he said it for a theater screen. This is not governance. This is betrayal. As a matter of fact, in some places, some people are hung or shot, all right, or placed in an electric chair for this sort of treason on your own people. Oh my God, I tell you, I felt when he said that the earth shook. I felt so passionate that this man is on the right track and he's saying the right things. He's going to do the right thing. He has the right interest and he has the unfounded love for his country because he's going to fix and clean the atrocities. But in fact, he was the atrocitor and your own people.
As a matter of fact, there's another clip here that I have from our 22 campaign that he himself was saying to the people. So let me drop this clip because this is what we're going to have to do to him now.
Even people who are working hard and trying to do the right thing, if this government is going to get you, they're going to get you. There's no limit. So my advice to people that I've been saying is that you must resist. And you can resist in many different ways. You can resist by talking to a friend. Resist by registering. You can resist by sharing information. And you can resist, of course, by marching. You can resist by writing on Facebook. You can resist by supporting the opposition. There are many instances and many ways in which you can resist this government. So I finally say, to all those who are scared, this too shall pass.
And that's the fact, Brother Benter. This too shall pass. I know people are afraid to come forward. People are afraid of their family being victimized and all of that. But this too shall pass in time. I'm gonna drop a clip here because I just love this clip. I like how he got the labor rights. The boy Timo have the labor rights. Them really going mad with this one. So I got to drop this one for my boy Timo. I did not know Timo was such a legend until now. So let's take a listen, Brother Benter.
In our audience today is DJ Marisha. I want you to give him a hand of welcome because PLP welcomes all. DJ would tell you that he has had some harsh words for me, but I never take that on. I listened. I accept his criticism, shook his hand several times, and I vow that I will do better. I want to thank him, though, for standing on principle. He, like several others, were fooled by Dr. Joe. They have come now to see him as the vindictive, selfish, arrogant, insecure leader that he had always been. So I say welcome to you, my brother and friend. We will not always agree, but I will always admire a man who put his country first. You will always stand tall in my books.
Yeah, Brother Benter, that is the clip that drives those labor rights pressure up. So I look forward to dropping that on a weekly basis.
But I mean, I said it the last time. An individual who can work between the divide, despite what may be in a political arena, there's also a statesmanship that should also be applied. And in him recognizing you, I mean, I don't know the gentleman, but listening to his presentation where you were at an event, and in recognizing that you're a man of purpose, that you're a man of principle, that you're a man of fairness, and that you're a man who is fair to what you said that you would apply to service to the people, not servitude, but you stood on your course, you weathered it. You said that you would be the first to step out. If this team that you're pushing forward come in and they do opposite to what they said they would do, that you would be the first, that you would break the ranks if you have to, if it's something different to what you campaigned for on behalf of the people. It is not about the governance of the administration based on who they are, but of the service that they bring with the governance to serve the people fairly. You said you would separate. And Mr. Harris, as he said, I guess leader of the opposition, I guess that's his title now, I'm not sure.
No, just opposition.
But, opposition, okay. But the man is speaking in the sense of working between the divide. That's a statesman when it comes to politics. Wrong or right, the man have opened that branch of, which is we call the olive branch pretty much, and said we can talk, we can work between the divide, and this is how you move a country forward. When an individual is in denial, because they think that the people are what you call illiterate, right? I heard the premier of Nevis said that St. Kitts and Nevis has a 98% literacy reading. That is honorable. A 98% literacy rate. This is what the premier said in one of his presentations. That sends value to my head based on the education realm within the country. May not be rich in gold and all this other stuff, but rich in understanding and comprehension. That now, how do we apply the comprehension now? Can you get the people to read for themselves rather than just listening to what's being said? Because what's being said is easy to be said, written by somebody else, just to keep things a certain way. But what's out there in the general public, in the media today, They should be cognizant of reading it for themselves and digesting it for themselves and doing their own research for themselves. Because at the end of the day, your name, your heritage, your parents' legacy is now at risk based on what some individuals have done to remove that integrity from you, from your heritage. This is what they've walked for so many years. And I know nobody's reading the entire process under the CBI that's come out that says that individuals, some would have to up from 5 to 10 to 15,000 for a bond. They're not reading that. They're not understanding or comprehending what that means. That's just one thing. The other thing we spoke about is those who committed crimes, certain crimes, that they're going to extradite from the country and remove their citizenship, whether that's visa or green card or naturalization. That's going to be taken away. See how the numbers are amping up? These are things that needs to be looked at. And then you're looking at students, here we go again, that can't get the visas renewed because of what's going on. It's amping up, right? And this is not just the talk anymore, is that you have ministers are speaking of the hardship that they're learning that a lot of people are receiving from the Ministry of St. Kitts and Nevis, the Ministry of Barbados, the Ministry of Antigua. Each one of they're making an announcement in a way that they realize that there's an issue. But the issue didn't just start because somebody felt like. The issue began because of the CBI program, primarily after the MSR group presented what they presented and gave a clear picture, a clear understanding with documentation. And there was a RICO filed by Mr. Martinez at MSR, and he terminated it because it was missing a few things. Do they know that this RICO is wide open right now because a few things that were missing is now in Mr. Martinez's hands and the Department of Justice for the RICO application now? What's required that he didn't have before, he has it. The Department of Justice has it. But I would prefer, though, that Mr. Martinez allow for the Department of Justice to move, because these RICO may take a little longer. And if there's a RICO one way, it sort of holds us back a little bit. Let the U.S. Department of Justice complete what they're doing. I know that in some instances, because there's so much talk, it's unfortunate that while there were conversations where each had each other's number and they can commute and communicate like men, that those doors were closed. Now you open yourself to the world, not just to the United States, but to the EU as well, that they're also looking down on the country. You were able to travel to certain places in Europe, and now you need a visa. Now they're talking about, hey, there's going to be some other requirement for the visa process for you to come in. And some of them, they remove the visa process from you that requires other things. This is what's happening. Who created this monster? And how this monster got out of the bag where it was controlled by the OCS country. They had it under the control. But Terence Drew decided, I am the big hedge honcho here. I'm the big dog. And he decides that he's going to try to impugn the characters of reputable individuals, such as myself, right? By becoming a skirt, by placing it through our social media, and then use a AI recording and said that we were talking, that I was speaking about money, and I was talking that he created from his AI group, from the guy that's in the States that did it for them. Yes, we know who they are. We know exactly who did it, right? We know exactly who did it. And that was okay. And he made a mockery, posted on his page as well, so people could see it and people could hear it. And it was a joke in his mind because he still has not grown up. There's still urine behind his ear as a man, supposed to be, but acting as a child, and did that. Now you've invoked your whole country. You've invoked every citizen of your country in this stupid game that you thought you were playing so well. Now you've destroyed your own country in so many ways as it continues to transcend from all that I mentioned before with the others that will come. Many people travel out for medical reasons. The indirect, right? The effects. Many people have businesses that they go and they do the shopping or otherwise to bring merchandise or mercantiles back to your country. The indirect. Many people who have children who were born there, but they have on their visa and they birth their babies there. These are the things now that yes, this is not the whole Trump Immigration Act. No. Study what's being said, all right? Study what's being said, because there are countries that that's not happening to, right? Right now we have countries in Africa, getting ready now to now come in the consort along with the United States. All right? Where many are reopening their doors now because they realize, hey, U.S. aid really helped. Right? How much U.S. aid we got? When I say we are talking about this diaspora, how much? Where I'm at is very cold right now. That's why I'm dressed this way. But how much of the U.S. aid came through for the Caribbean nation? And what is it that we're prepared to lose? And we keep saying that. The direct and the indirect. People, when you hear things, don't think about just what you hear them say. You got to go by and say, okay, what is it that comes here for me? The airline, we mentioned that. Every passenger to get in a taxi, every passenger to bring a bag, go to the beach, you name it. Those are the indirect services that you who work to get that as a passenger gets. You prepared to lose that? So we took it to another level, DJ. We took it to now talking about cruise ship and airline, right? Now let's talk about the vessels coming out of the United States under the tariff, or coming into the United States under the tariff. What is the merchandise going to cost when they got to pay a tariff of how much will be charged, that now they're going to come back to St. Kitts and Nevis? What do you think the price is going to be? I see you posted a few things on the shelves in the grocery stores, what is bacon and different things, from what price was to what it has jumped to. How much more do you think it's going to jump to? Because the question is, can St. Kitts and Nevis feed itself? You have the agriculture section of it and the aquaculture side of it to sustain, and then you export the abundance of what you have in excess. Where are we when we're thinking? Get out of what one man is saying to you, or individuals who speak for themselves, because they can get in a private jet, and they can jet set. Okay? So while they are being splashed with cash that they make under the CBI program, that they could drink a bottle of wine that costs over $1,000, but while you're drinking water with sugar, they're not worrying about how you're going to survive tomorrow. And those are the things that we got to look at when we're educating our people going forward. The MSR group, someone said, my God, we didn't realize this was so pronounced, so deep. A lot of people didn't realize that. Even in investigation, if it wasn't for the MSR presentation of the documents and the contracts and the players and some of the way how it's channeled and worked, a lot of the investigation by the federal government would not have been as far as it is today. As a result of whom? Prime Minister Terence Drew. Isn't this amazing? Huh?
Very amazing. Brother Benter is now in that zone where we are getting out of time. I have a couple of ads to drop. I want to drop 1 or 2 tracks, and I know you have your closing. So you want to do your closing or following those things? Okay, I'm going to drop the ads right about now. My boy there, brother. Attention vehicle owners and operators. Your driving experience just got better. Yes, you heard it right. 3A's Auto Services, located Main Street, Sandy Point, St. Kitts, where you have tire sales and installation, vehicular repairs, and other services. You can reach Mr. Aston Corker at 869-664-2204, 869-667-2071, or 869-665-0605. Yes, 3A's Auto Services, located at Main Street, Sandy Point, St. Kitts, just above the Brimstone Hills Fortress. And you can reach out to them for emergency roadside services. Remember, Brother Aston Corker is available 24/7. Just call those numbers.
I just want to drive a motor car. I just want to drive a motor car. Drive it. Drive it. Give me 1. Hey. Give me 2. Hey, hey.
Yes, that's from my boy there, Brother Aston Corker. That's 3A's Auto Services there, Main Street, Sandy Point, St. Kitts. And right now, let's take a run across to our sister island there, Queen City, Nevis. So here what my boy Carbo have to tell us.
Cabos, located at Fountain Village in Nevis, is the go-to spot for your Saturday treats. Tantalize your taste buds with his delectable Cabos Delicacy Goat Water. Or, if you prefer some soul food, then Cabos Fungi and Fish is definitely the way to go. Call ahead and reserve at 869-663-9694. Then make your way over to Cabo's and enjoy the vibrant atmosphere while you savor your delicacy. Cabo's, we are not changing, we are only improving.
Food all over, food all over. You got the food all over.
Yes, my good people, you heard it correct. The King Cabo, they have the food all over the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. Give him a call, let him know DJ Marisha sent you. Now let's hear from my girl, dear sister Carmen of Carmen Caterers.
Girl Sandra, you know where you can find nice fresh local food 7 days a week, one provision and all kind of thing. Girl, where? Right down there by Shellings, by Carmen Catering Services. Girl, she opposite the bus stop. Girl, and she also cater for weddings, parties, anything you want to cater for, funeral and all. Girl, and trust me, you're gonna enjoy the food. And she also selling bites and sundaes. Opposite the car shop, right down the main road. Girl, you could call 665-1494 or 663-6005 to order your food or go and pick up your food. Girl, the food will be finger licking and you get your money worth. You ain't want nothing better than that.
Yeah, for sure, Sister Carmen do deliver on her services there. So check out my girl, Sister Carmen, and let her know DJ Marisha sent you. Now let's take a run across to the Virgin Islands there. Check my boy, brother Malvin Gums of the Spectrum Band and hear what they have to say about the DJ.
Hey, this is Malvern from Spectrum Band, and you're listening to DJ Marisha, playing you the best in Caribbean music.
You got that.
Hey, this is Malvern from Spectrum Band, and you're locked into DJ Marisha. Keep it locked.
Right there. And my good people, right about now, I'm going to drop this track in memory of the man, Cans Edwards, a.k.a. Lord Black, the Buffalo Soldier. This one is called The Band Me Song.
The band that song. I'm a man who don't take nothing serious. I make me jokes even when I want to cuss. Life to me, as Johnny Mattison, is a song worth singing just for fun. I make friends with Tom, Dick, also Susie. Hatred and enmity, so foreign to me. So Friday, when I jump off the boat in Nevis, I couldn't believe when Spurgy told me this black. The band new song, the band new song. Oh no, I got to be deaf or else hearing wrong. The band me song, the band me song. You mean that simple long and me only song? The band me song, the band me song. You mean the one in which you try to locate the message? The band on without even telling me what is wrong. You know, I was only skylarking still. The band me song, the band me song. I believe the singing touched them just where they're lacking. That's why I might be wrong. So the band me song.
Don't laugh. Rest in peace, my brother. The Buffalo Soldier.
Perhaps they were right in banning that marathon. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had to sing this song. They talk about encouraging this art form. Good lyrics creativity, push local. And you know, everybody could hear soul and TV. Display and play and play so freely. But local calypsonians always they say smutty. And I believe one of these days everything must be free. So they ban me song. They ban me song. Oh no, I got to be deaf or else I'm hearing wrong. Lord, they ban me song. They ban me song. You mean my simple long and me only song, yeah. They ban me song. They ban me song. You mean the one in which you try to locate the message? They ban them without even telling me what is wrong. I mean, I was only skylarking still. They ban me song. They ban me song. But suppose I had really sing that song. That's why I might be wrong. They ban me song. I suggest calypsonians you hold a workshop. Invite all of them who always mess us up. For calypso is mere inspiration, reflecting true feelings and our situations. To compose is a load of time and energy, music and practice, plus harmony on completion before you even feel satisfied. They ban your song and say, oh, it's justified. Lord, they ban me song. They ban me song. Oh no, I got to be deaf or else hearing wrong. Lord, look there now. They ban me song. They ban me song. You mean that simple, long and little song? Yeah, they ban me song. They ban me song. You mean the one in which you try to locate the message? They ban them without even telling me what is what. I and I was only skylarking still. They ban me song. They ban me song. It must be touched them just where they're most lacking. That's why I might be wrong, but they ban me song.
Yeah. The man not black, aka the Buffalo Soldier. Can't say once. Rest in peace, my brother. Yes, man, that's the man, Lord Black there, the Buffalo Soldier. He said they banned his song. And you know, my favorite one, I want to send that to some of you hypocrites out there that try to show the DJ some fake love. When that time is right, please don't come with your, what do you call it, crocodile tears. Please don't come crying because the DJ will be okay. All right?
Good evening. The fresh air I breathe every day. You try your damnness to take it away. This life is pure blood and sweat. What you call life, man, me call death. So keep on shoveling your dirt at me with your stiff roots and hypocrisy. You're killing me, but you say it's official. You're joking me, but you say it's legal. Got to find solace and escapism inside the melody of this calypso rhythm. And since you lack the qualification, I cannot extend an invitation. So, look on to me, funeral. Don't come to my funeral. Nice. I remember co-worker, the late Van Southland. Lying in my coffin yesterday, I was resurrected by the good things you say. Not even in death can I understand the dishonesty of my fellow man. Why do you say such good things about me? Only when I'm dead and I don't bury. Out of your mouth I go cut out your lying tongue. Eulogizing me like I'm Pope Paul the Second. Got to find relief and direction from the lyrics and the beat of my song. And since you cannot deal with the common man, me no want see you in my possession. So no come to me funeral. Don't come to my funeral. Nice. Man tries to exist barely, then he dies from persistent poverty. But those doctors with their clean faces, on the death certificate they write natural causes. So even on my very deathbed, medical fallacy messing up me head. You're killing me, but you say, oh, it's natural. You're joking me, but you say it's suicidal. Got to find comfort and escapism inside the melody of me calypso rhythm. And since you can't pass my test in blackness, your presence I will protest. No come. Don't come to me funeral.
Yeah, Brother Benta, you're closing.
I want to thank you again for the great listener audience again. I look forward to reading a lot of the comments, suggestion. The chat section of it is a good one. It helps a lot to get the feel for the people And I think more than anything, as I look at the Citizens Empowerment Coalition, as far as where you are today, hopefully to hear more and on the way forward with that organization, DJ Marisha, I think that the people definitely would love to be educated on it more so as you go forward. But I will say to you again, you've been given wings by the election system of St. Kitts and Nevis by way of the symbol of the bird. I say that is something that says something that goes a lot further. At the end, many will look at the comments made today or suggestion today or opinions made today, but I stand behind my opinion and suggestion like I've did in the past. We haven't been wrong yet. We've been challenged in the past, but it took hard direction to then prove the facts. But the facts as they're proven today is detrimental to the nations. It shouldn't have to be that. It should not have never, ever got to that. It should not have even been a thought, knowing that the consequences could be in that direction. But the thought that the MSR group was foolish enough not to know what to do. They made a mistake with that. And another mistake is being made by not really addressing the issues on the CBI issue when it comes to the bond that the government is going to levy against individuals traveling. And so far, they're mentioning all of the other CBI countries may be inflicted or implicated as well. And it's going to happen. And then there's some other things that's coming out of it until the State Department lets go. I ask the people to be cognizant of yourself, though. When you have a minister, a premier that says that the comprehension rate or literacy rate is 98%, I ask you to be cognizant of your own destiny. Cognizant to understand that what's being done to you is one that they would rather you remain silent and just accept it for the moment because they're getting away with a lot. But after this is done, what becomes of your nation? Because by then it's all in shambles. So I want to say thank all of you this evening for listening to us, and I wish each and every one of you Godspeed.
Yeah, thank you, Brother Benter, for taking the time out. As I said previously, the citizens will have an option. They do have an option by way of the Citizens Empowerment Coalition for the next polling date. Independent candidate under this umbrella will definitely be a force to be reckoned with and make sure that the country and the citizens get what is due to them. At this point in time, we're going to drop the closing anthem of this program, the unofficial anthem of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. This one is called Arise by the late great, the King Arrow.
Your country dying and never lend a helping hand. Would you see your children's future dwindling, creating much disillusion? Or would we watch on idly, disregarding our self-sufficiency? Maladministration building a brand new nation. We'll move on together hand in hand. Rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours.
It's reunification, building a brand new nation. We move on together hand in hand. Rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours. Can your conscience be clear? Indulging corruption or misusing public office, being accused of unemployment and crimes, or disrupting a citizen's peace. Oh, my country in disharmony, separated politically. Hatred for a brother, cannot love each other. No, I say no, potato. Citizens, let's unite and stand up for rights, all our lives and our lives. Let us reintegrate and correct all mistakes. Reunification, building a brand new nation. We move on together hand in hand. So rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours.
Yes, my good people, and that brings us to the close of yet another successful broadcast here at the DJ Mauritius Forum. Want to thank Brother Benter for taking the time out to join me this evening and look forward to his continued input in trying to get our country, the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, back on track. Until such time, same time, same place next week, my good people. DJ Mauritius saying good evening and good night.